Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I'm your host, Jay Slim. And joining me today is one of the guys that's helped me build this brand that I have up from the ground to where it is now. 6'5" guard from the Oregon Ducks. He's going to light you up on the offensive end, lock you down on the defensive end. I'm talking about a legend from my hometown in Fort Myers, Florida, Jadrian Tracey. What's going on, Bam?
Sure.
Dante draws the double. Great pass. In the corner, Tracey for three.
My man, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the work you be doing, man. For real, it goes noticed for sure.
I appreciate that, man. It's always a blessing to be able to have you guys on. And obviously, you've had a phenomenal career so far. Just had an outstanding season with the Oregon Ducks. Guys ended up winning the Pac-12 tournament, making it to March Madness, won that first round matchup against South Carolina, and you've been a big part of their team. Talk to me real quick about what this past season was like for you, being able to kind of be a key role for such a high major caliber team.
Really, it's just a blessing. First of all, you know what I mean. I worked so hard, and I thank God that He helped get me here. You know what I mean. But it's just an everyday fight, man, and it felt good coming from JUCO and being able to help a program out.
Mhm. Yeah, you were definitely a big part of their team, and you guys had, unfortunately, a lot of injuries throughout this season. Nafali Dante, one of your main scorers, he ended up getting hurt, and Nate Biddle, who was the backup center, and then a couple of other players in your rotation. And you started off kind of like that sixth, seventh man. You and Cario ended up being those first two guys off the bench, I believe, that very first couple of games. And then you ended up taking on a starting role after those injuries, and you just never saw the bench again. Pretty much you were playing key minutes, critical role for your team. How would you say you really stepped up into that starter role once they gave you the keys to the car, I guess?
Um, Really, I felt like I said it all year. We had a really good team, a deep team, and injuries happen. We weren't gonna play everybody so much minutes this year, so you know what I mean. I felt like we had 7, 8 starters out there, and some dudes were just coming off the bench. And when it was just my turn, I felt like I got ready, man, and I took advantage of it. Especially like on the defensive end. My role wasn't as big offensively this year, and things like that, but you know what I mean? I just wanted to find a way to get on the court and things like that. I just worked very hard and talk, communicate, things like that helped me get on the floor. And that really helped me. And especially coming off the bench at first, being more beginning of the year, it helped slow everything down, be able to watch the game a little bit before going in, seeing adjustments and stuff. And then when I started starting, I just kept doing what I was doing to get the spot.
Yeah, and you talked about how you weren't one of the double digit scorers on the team, but you still did have a very big role for them on both ends of the floor. You ended up kind of starting because of your lockdown defense, hardworking. You would dive on the ground for loose balls, hustle for rebounds, but still on the season, you ended up averaging 7.6 points, shot 36% from beyond the arc to help your team to a phenomenal season. Talk to me real quick about this Oregon program as a whole, from the coaches to the players to everybody, what it really took for you guys to find the success that you did.
Really, our coaches have been there before. They've been in that light, you know what I mean, to having to win and to get to the tournament and things like that. So the biggest thing is I just trusted our coaches, you know what I mean, and our coaches they've been doing this for such a long time, man, and just the culture that they have here, it's just something that you got to come in and fill, you know what I mean, fill out. But the program is just great being here. I love being here. You know what I mean? Got whatever resources you need. And it makes fun. It's fun working. It's pl fun playing for somebody you want to play for. You know what I mean? Playing for a coach you want to play for. Like even at JUCO, that's why I feel like I played well at JUCO. Like I wanted to play for Coach Murph. I wanted to play hard for him, and that makes it that much easier. And especially with like you said, at a big program like this, a national program like this, um, it makes it easy coming from playing from maybe less than 100 people in the crowd in JUCO to you got thousands of people out in the crowd. So that's the easy part, going in and playing hard.
Yeah, in your JUCO days, the last time I had you on for an interview, you guys were, I believe, getting ready for the postseason during your
Mhm.
year at JUCO. Got to mention this because it happened obviously after our interview. You were an All-American at the junior college level. You averaged 14 and a half points, shot 43% from three, ended up breaking the FSW single season 3-point percentage record. I was the one that caught that. I was excited when I saw it, by the way. And you continued that success at Oregon. Obviously, you know, you had some big time scores in Dante and Kuznard who led the way, but you still had some very key contributions throughout the season. You had 20 points against Stanford, where you guys got a big win against them. You had 10 plus points in about 15 games for the Ducks this season. So you really, like you said, you guys had about 7 or 8 starters, you know, before you guys suffered those injuries. You stepped in as a starter. The guy who kind of remained as the sixth man for that team, it's kind of crazy. You know, he could have been a starter. He was a starter at Georgia, and that's Cario Oquendo. And you guys have similar backgrounds. Cario played at Florida Southwestern for a year as well. He's a Florida native also, just like yourself. So, and I know you guys were very close throughout this past season at Oregon. What was that like being able to play alongside a guy that you have a close bond with that has a similar background to yourself?
You know, it's great, especially knowing that somebody that kind of understands where you're coming from, JUCO wise, you know what I mean? And so does Brendan Rigsby, who's here also from JUCO, Northwest Florida. And just knowing that you're in it with other dudes that aren't looking down on you and they're understanding where you're coming from, trying to learn faster, get back to a faster pace, you know what I mean? Because that's the difference in this high level basketball too, is the pace and things like that. It was great playing with him though, man. Like that's my boy. I'm probably about to go hoop with him after this. You know what I mean? And it was great though, man. We competed together. We made each other better, and you know, mean good luck to him at SMU. And I hope he does really good there, and I hope I have a really good year next year too, man. And but just knowing that we all just kind of fighting from the same start and things like that, and just you know what I mean, just having that JUCO label on you and trying to shake it off.
Yeah, and you just mentioned it there. He's going to be going off to SMU. So you're losing one former FSW alumni. You're actually gaining one next season. Desrick Lindsay, he's going to be coming and joining you next year. He was a freshman during your sophomore year at Florida Southwestern. So sports is just such a small world, and obviously you know that you played a lot against a lot of players that you knew across the country this past season. Two of them that I knew as well from our time at FSW together. Jonathan Dos Anjos when you played UTEP, and then Brian Celebonga, you saw him twice in the season when you played Arizona State in Pac-12 action. Talk to me real quick about what that really says for, you know, the FSW program, because all of you guys came from that, you know, powerhouse JUCO system that Eric Murphy had. What does that really say about what Florida Southwestern is able to produce talent-wise?
You know, we had a saying called the FSW way. You know what I mean? And I just think that culture there is like no other I've been in. The working culture, just knowing every day you come in that gym, you're gonna work hard. And that don't matter if your knees hurt, ankles hurt, banged up a little bit, everybody is, but Coach Murphy is expecting you to go in there and get better each and every day. And that's something I feel like Coach Murphy did a great job with us with is, you know what I mean, building us up as men, mentally, changing our games, you know what I mean? And but the biggest thing with him is he treated everybody the same with equalness and held everybody accountable. It's just a culture there that when you walk inside that gym, you know what I mean, we're gonna work hard. You was in the open gyms, you was in the workouts, you know, and you ain't going hard. Coach Murphy's on you, other coaches on you, and you got Coach Wallace as the head coach now, and I know that he's gonna come in and do some great things in there. You know what I mean? I know he's gonna carry on that culture because he's one of the guys that helped me get where I am too from when I was real young. But it's just that culture, man, that hard working culture, knowing that you can go in there and get better.
Yeah, and congrats to Coach Wallace for taking the reins after Eric Murphy. He's now heading to Western Kentucky to be an assistant over there, I believe the lead assistant. And I know you and Coach Murph were very close. I know you were very supportive of him when he ended up announcing that he got that job with Western Kentucky. Talk to me real quick, what does it mean for you as a former player to realize that you kind of helped get him recognized to where he could go off back to the Division I level and continue his career at a high level?
Well, Coach Murph, you know, he's a very, very good coach. He's very good at what he does. He's very good at connecting with dudes. And that was the biggest thing with me and him is I felt like me and him had a connection. You know what I'm saying? And Coach Murphy used to treat me like one of his. He used to yell at me, get in my face, and then we'd back right back. You know what I mean? Saying me, come on, Bam, we need you going hard. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, and it feels good, man, because he helped me get to where I am too. So I'm glad that it was a great deal between both of us. We both helped each other, and I know he's gonna go do great things at Western Kentucky because the man he is, and you know what I mean, his morals, he doesn't change for nobody, and he's very true to himself, and I love that. But even like that poster you got behind us, every person in that poster behind us is at a college now, including Coach Murph. You know what I mean? So Carmani, Trace, AJ, Evans, you know what I mean? They redshirted last year. Things like that. Omar, Allen, Brad, Mitch, me, Tyson. Name down the line. You know what I'm saying? Literally everybody in that poster behind you is out of college. And that's a testimony to who Coach Murphy is as a man and who his word is, because he says to you, you come in and work hard and this for me, you can get what you want out of this place. And that's exactly what happened for all of us down the line and even himself.
Yeah, I've gotten to see it firsthand what he's been able to do with the program. When I first got there, he had Keon Ellis, who's now a starter for the Sacramento Kings throughout
Yep.
the last 20 something games of the NBA season. So he, like you said, he tells you when you come in what you want. If you work hard, you'll get it. And that's what happened for yourself. You ended up going to the Power Five level for Oregon in what ended up being the final year of the Pac-12, which is crazy to say out loud, to think that the Pac-12 is now disbanded. Oregon is now moving to the Big 12, but you guys ended up
We're
making
going to 10.
history. Hmm?
We're going to 10, I'm sorry. Big
Oh,
10.
Big 10. Big
Yeah.
10. I thought it was Big 12. Big 10. So you guys are going to be making that move. And
Mhm.
what's crazy is you guys made history being the final ever Pac-12 tournament champions. Guys ended up making that run and taking down some very tough teams. Talk to me real quick about what that means to you to be able to say, yeah, I was a part of the last team ever to win the Pac-12 tournament when there are so many historical names associated with that conference.
Mhm. I mean, it felt great, man. It was a wonderful feeling. That was one of our goals we wrote down in the beginning of the year is to win that. And we buckled down because we had a tough little stretch there for a minute, but we buckled down and trusted our coaches and trusted each other. And it feels great though, man. Like when the confetti finally dropped on us, that's when I kind of realized too, like it took me 22 years to win one thing. You know what I'm saying? In basketball, and it just felt like dang, like my hard work really has paid off. You know what I mean? Somewhat, but I knew we had to get to the tournament, so we couldn't celebrate too much. But it felt great, man, just knowing that all your hard work, late nights in the gym, those sacrifices you make with your team just kind of pays off, man. And you know what I mean? It felt great, and I'm glad that we ended up winning it instead of anybody else. You know what I mean? That my name is on there now. Oregon's name is on there, and they won the first one when it was in Las Vegas, and they won the last one when it was in Las Vegas. So it felt good even for to do it for Coach Altman and our coaching staff because um I know like they deserve it, man. They work hard too. You know what I mean? Like they put together a good team. They made us better. They coached us hard, and it felt good to be able to do it for the person next to you.
Yeah, you guys had an incredible season, and you talked about making it to the March Madness tournament and
Mhm.
to, be on the biggest stage when it comes to college basketball. You guys ended up going off and playing number 6 South Carolina and got the win 87-73 in that first round. Walk me through real quick the preparation going into the national tournament and how you guys were able to really come together and get that first round win.
Um, Really, like we were so connected at that time of the year. You know what I mean? That I just knew like if we play any what good, we're gonna win. You know what I mean? And the preparation for it is we just it's a mental game at that time of the year. There's not much practicing you're doing. There's not much. You're just literally going over the scouting reports and studying who your man is, what your matchups is, other players. It's really, really mental, and that was the biggest thing I learned from that time of the year. March Madness is how mental that time of the year is. To waking up, knowing, seeing if you know the scout, to what kind of plays Are they running when they pass the ball here? What's going on? So I just feel like I grew as a basketball player, really just, you know what I mean, honing in on those type of things.
Yeah, and you guys obviously got that win. You were able to come out on top against one of your old teammates, Jermaine Kuznar. That was his old team, so I'm sure that meant a lot to him. That was pretty cool.
He had a 40 ball.
He did. You're right. I remember
Yeah.
what that I remember now. I watched that and he was an absolute bucket. And you
Yeah.
were, you were a big part of, helping out on the defensive end, finding him open. You had quite a few assists in that game. I remember that as well. But I know a lot of players I've had on here have talked about being in the March Madness tournament and how they treat you guys like kings. It's an absolutely surreal experience. Talk to me real quick about your experience from the tournament in general. What was that like throughout the whole NCAA tournament experience?
I mean, it was great. It was really like a childhood dream. You know what I mean? I've never even thought about being this far. You know what I mean? I've just always played as hard as I can and worked as hard as I can to see how far I can actually go. But when I actually got there and those lights were on and we're playing in front of thousands of people, it kind of hit me in warm-ups. Like, this was wild. Like, look at all these people, look at all these cameras and stuff like that. And that was only the first and second round. But it was great, man. The people were nice. Um, the janitors were nice, the assistants were nice, the everybody around was just nice to you, and they were happy to be there too. It just seemed like everybody was just happy to be there. And like you said, that's the highest level of college basketball you can get to at that moment in March Madness. And I just enjoyed it, man. I just enjoyed it with my teammates. I embraced the tournament. I got my flags up right here, my March Madness flags and stuff. So yeah, it was fun.
And now you move on to next season. This past season is behind you. Now you're looking forward to this upcoming season. You guys losing some key players. Obviously, Dante's heading off to the NBA. Hopefully, Jermaine Kuznar, gets drafted or has a shot at least in the summer league. And then you mentioned, Cario transferring to SMU, and then a couple of other people transferred or graduated. So you're looking to take a bigger step next season for the Ducks. How are you preparing yourself this offseason to be able to take more of a higher level scoring role and just a leadership role in general for Oregon next season?
Really, I'm just focusing on my strength right now, just trying to get stronger. I'm working out, obviously. That's what everybody has to do because, everybody's going to get better over the summer. The summer is grind time for everybody in the country who plays basketball. And really, I'm just focused on my strength, reflecting on last season about things I've done, watching film, and just be, just be, just trying to become a smarter player and things like that. Um, but yeah, just really just focused on trying to take a jump for next year.
Absolutely, man. And I cannot wait to see what you do next season. Already got your autographed jersey on the wall, one of my most prized possessions in my collection. Been able to watch you since you were a little kid. I used to go against
Yeah.
your older brother playing pickup against him. I hated going against him, and you're still doing your thing over at Oregon, man. So I'm beyond proud to see what you and your family has done so far. And you already know I'm going to be supporting you all the way, man. Congrats.
Appreciate it, man. Vice versa, and I'm very happy for you too, man. I see everything you're doing. It doesn't go unnoticed, like I said, and I appreciate everything, man. Especially the support, those texts after the game, before the game, all that, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. I'm always going to be here for y'all. You guys are my family. You're my brother for life. And go Ducks next season, man. Time for a national tournament championship.
Go Ducks, man. Let's go.